Number one, please turn your noise-making devices such as mobiles and pages into silent mode. Number two, please turn off your audio and mute yourself if you are not speaking. Number three, please always turn on your video until your bandwidth allows you. Number four, please try to avoid speaking on debatable topics such as sex, religion, and politics. Now, it's time to hand over the meeting to a person who has been a Toastmaster since 1997 and has contributed significantly to the growth of District 79 and 122 since their creation. The first and only Pakistani to get the President's Citation Award in 2019 as of now, Toastmasters International's highest honor, as well as the numerous other accomplishments that make District 79 and 122 proud. He is the president of the Lahore and Quantum Leap Toastmasters Club, benchmark club in District 122C. He is none other than our beloved club president, DTM Matt. Sir, over to you. You're on mute, sir.
See, this is what happened with us. Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Ajay. What a good and wonderful introduction. I think you use the Google and get some points from there. So, by having said this one, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good evening as per your geographical location. But at my place is at 10:03 at morning. So from my side is a good morning to all of you. It's a bright and sunny day at Lahore, and I don't know the temperatures you are facing, but we are near to, the roast one. Let's have a guest introductions today. And my first guest is Toastmaster Meher. Toastmaster Meher, would you like to introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I'm just logging in from Wordwise Toastmasters. Sorry, my mic is not at its best. And I'm looking forward to hearing the keynote by DTM Matt. Thank you.
Me too. Toastmaster Mario.
Hi everyone, reporting from Slovenia, Central Europe, and looking forward to the meeting. Back to you.
Welcome, Toastmaster Mario. Toastmaster Abrar.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to this part of the world and good evening to the other part of the world. My name is Abrar Wani, currently serving as President Islamabad Toastmasters Club. And I would like to welcome Matt Kinsey back again in Pakistan through virtual platform. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abrar. You are welcome in Quantum Leap Toastmaster Club. Toastmaster Amit.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am from Mumbai, India, and I'm looking forward to this speech by Matt and looking forward to the meeting overall. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You are most welcome. Toastmaster Martin.
Hi, how are you? This is Martin from Mexico, and I'm glad to be here and to listen the keynotes and all the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Martin. And I'm not calling him as a guest. I'm not calling him as a member. I'm calling him as a mentor to around the globe. DTM Sarfaraz.
Thank you. This is Sarfaraz Nazir from Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. I'm a member of Karachi Toastmasters Club and Division Director-elect in District 50 and a member of clubs in District 25. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sarfaraz. And Toastmaster Azam.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. This is Toastmaster Azam Ali from Lahore, Pakistan. and I'm a Club Growth Director of District 122. I am very happy to see Matt Kinsey here. I joined this meeting to listen his keynote speech. Looking forward for a wonderful speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Azam and Toastmaster Irfan Faruqi.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I'm Irfan Faruqi from Century Paper Toastmaster and Centurion Toastmasters Club, Pakistan. Happy to be here. Wanted to listen to Matt Kinsey last time also. Unfortunately, couldn't. I believe today would be a good day to listen to him. Thank you very much for letting me be a part of this group.
You are welcome, Toastmaster Irfan. And Toastmaster Shaista, you are with us? I think, yes, Toastmaster Shaista. I think some net issue. And fellow Toastmasters, let me make one announcement that the next meeting that will be on 8th of July. And that is very special meeting that it is taking over. And the next XCOM of Quantum Leap, first elected Toastmaster, XCOM of Quantum Leap will take over from me. And I will be very glad to hand over what we achieved during the 1 year or more time. And the new president, new XCOM will take over on 8th of July. I will request all of you to join us on installation ceremony. It will be very unique installation at Quantum Leap Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmaster, do you have any question or any business?
I'd like to just make an announcement as part of the business proceedings.
Please.
During the past week, we achieved something historic. We achieved the Distinguished Club designation for the first time in our history. Today is our 39th meeting, so the club is not that old. And just reflecting a bit on the history, it was chartered in November of 2021. And we've held fortnightly meetings where we have not missed one single meeting. We have not missed one single keynote. And what's more, we started with 17 members because 3 were transferred from another club as a charter strength. And today, Alhamdulillah, we are back to the same strength, 17 members and a distinguished club. I believe that the club leadership and each and every member of Quantum Leap deserves congratulations and gratitude for making this, which is an advanced and themed club, against all odds, distinguished and performing so consistently. So it all goes out to all the members, and I couldn't be more honored and grateful to be a part of this initiative. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Vice President Education. And it is really is a benchmark for Quantum Leap that the first time since inception we are getting a distinguished club status. It is very difficult for any advanced club to get such a status. We are good in getting in education award, but sometimes we have facing certain issue due to certain reason. But we are distinguished club and will show that in coming years we maintain our status distinguished. At least we can go for select President Distinguished Award. By having said this one, it's a time for Toastmaster Talha is a VP Education is not here. Sorry, Toastmaster of the Day is not here. Would you like to introduce the keynote speaker so we can continue until our TMOD will join us? Please unmute yourself.
It will be my honor and privilege. First of all, before anything else, we should be thankful to International President Matt for taking out the time. While he was in Lahore, he heard about Quantum Leap, and straight away, jumping on the chance, I offered him to actually deliver a keynote at Quantum Leap, and he instantly agreed. So sincere gratitude. DTM Matt, as we all know, is our international president, and for this particular keynote, since it turns out that IP Matt is a lot of things. He's something of a renaissance man because he seems to be into everything. You ask him about anything, and he and Janine, between them, they share an extraordinary database of information about every topic imaginable. And what's more, when you ask them, they both try to outrun each other while speaking on the topic, which is beautiful to see, and which makes me wonder whether how many books has Matt read, and is it even humanly possible to get through so much data in one lifetime? He's, of course, our international president. He is an international information technology consultant, but today, our speaker today first delved into the world of science fiction as a young boy when he started reading Isaac Asimov, Robert Heinlein, and Dr. E. Smith. Although many English teachers frowned on science fiction as a form of literature, he has discovered how much fiction, and in particular science fiction, matters, as it informs the reader of the human condition. So, things haven't changed today. Science fiction and horror are scoffed at as genres. And yet, paradoxically, they remain the most successful genres in movies, in books, in any form of art. Do the math. If you pick up top 20 movies of all time, 13 or 14 are actually science fiction movies. If you pick up the top 10 best-selling books of all time, you will see several entries in the genre. So please put your hands together. Before that, Mr. Timer, thank you, first of all, for volunteering as timer. The keynote length is 15 to 20 minutes. And after that, we'll have a 5-minute Q&A. So everyone, please put your hands together for welcoming our International President, Distinguished Toastmaster Matt Kinsey, as he shares with us why science fiction matters. Amen.
I was fortunate to grow up in a household that had an appreciation for literature and for reading. And I was encouraged to read from a young age. And after I got through the early primer books and learned how to read, I began to extend my reading. And my first subject was not science fiction. My first subject was actually fantasy. And I remember very vividly getting very ill and having to go stay with my aunt for the day. And my father gave me The Lord of the Rings. And by the end of the day, I had read through all 3 volumes of The Lord of the Rings. Because I was sick, I had nothing else to do. And I understood humanity a little bit better watching that story unfold and realizing, even at a young age, that the person everybody thought was the hero wasn't the hero. See, Frodo and Gandalf and Aragorn are not the heroes of The Lord of the Rings. Samwise Gamgee is the hero. He is the one who saved the day at the end by staying true to the mission. And I realize that it's the individual in those small moments and staying true that makes a difference. But I quickly turned to science fiction. And my dad started talking to me about Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy, which was the first science fiction that I remember reading. And it was fascinating. it was fascinating hearing about the story of psychohistory. It's kind of what we would call sociology today. And remember, this was written starting in serialized form in the 50s, before sociology was a real topic. And what this did was talk about what happens when great numbers of people operate. While the individual is not predictable, the mass is predictable. And we see that so much today in advertising, in commerce, in government, society. We can make predictions about what a group of people are going to do, even though we don't know what each individual is going to do, by studying them and studying the arc of history. And then the difference that an individual has, because in the second set of the books, the mule shows up, who has the ability for telepathy and to create a bond with people. And all of a sudden, all of the plans of the empire, of the Second Empire, are being thrown out the window because of the acts of an individual. So you see this dichotomy between societal impact and the acts of the individual. And we can think of history where we have seen that. We see in India the efforts of Gandhi facing the British Empire. We see in South Africa the efforts of Nelson Mandela facing the forces of apartheid, serving his life in prison and being an inspiration to people. We see in my country the letters from Birmingham jail from Martin Luther King and the impact that he's had. And there's people like this across multiple societies. And we see this dichotomy that shows up in Asimov. And then we see it represented in history as well. Now, I devoured everything I could of Isaac Asimov because I just fell in love with him. And I went into the robot series. I went into some of his early science fiction where he started developing the 3 laws of robotics, which are guiding artificial intelligence today. He not only understood that robotics would become important, but that there needed to be restrictions upon it. And even at the end, when he began to merge his series together between robots and empire and bring those together into the concept, at the end, when that first begins to happen in Robots and Empire, where the robot Giscard postulates the zeroth law and talks about the importance of humanity, perhaps over the individual. And it's such a jarring concept for him that it causes him to shut down and cease operations because he's going against what his creators designed. What does Asimov teach us? Asimov really just teaches us a lot about the potential and this interaction. And as we begin to look at the impact of ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence tools, you hear people who are very concerned. Elon Musk is very concerned and thinks that we really need to be very cautious with artificial intelligence. And he feels that it's going to take over the world. Other people think he's a bit of an alarmist. I don't know. I mean, if I knew, I probably wouldn't be talking to you. I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be on his board if I knew. Okay. And if anyone's got an introduction to Elon Musk, please let me know. I'd love to speak to the man. But when we look at this, what's going on in society today, many of these themes were predicted by Asimov. And Asimov is fascinating. One of the reasons I fell in love with Asimov, he is the only author in history to publish under every single major category of the Dewey Decimal System. He's written science books, literature, science fiction, religious commentaries. He's written in every single subject in the Dewey Decimal System, a kind of a Renaissance man. But then after I finished reading everything I could on Asimov, I asked my dad what was next. Now, this was shortly after the movie Star Wars came out. And I remember sitting in the theater and my dad said it was like I was captive. From the first moment of seeing that ship move across the camera. And then the Imperial destroyer following it. He said, I didn't move. I didn't make a sound. I didn't eat my popcorn. I didn't drink my drink. I just sat there enthralled by that movie. My dad goes, do you want to understand where that movie came from? And I was like, sure. So he had me watch The Seven Samurai. And I understood some of the themes. But then he turned me on to this book. Now, if you have not read The Chronicle of the Lensman, which was written early in the science fiction history, you will see a story that is very similar in many ways to the Jedi. The power of the mind to overcome technology. That's the real story of Star Wars. And it's Star Wars science fiction or it's fantasy. It's kind of a blend, I think, really. But what it is, it's the power of the mind that overcomes technology. And even in Darth Vader, with his eventual return to the light side, you see this blending of the mind and technology. And that's what we're going through today in many ways. You know, I don't know how many of you would get a chip. I would get a chip in my brain. I'll be honest with you. I would get a chip in my brain. But if you haven't read The Chronicle of the Lensman, I really recommend it because you will understand there's 2 thick volumes. So this is not a quick, daily, 1 day read. It's a substantial effort, but I would. Now, what started the science fiction revolution? And some people go, well, it was Buck Rogers in the 20th century and all of these movies. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was this movie. Came out in 1969, 2001, A Space Odyssey. And what was different about it was it used real physics to describe what would happen in space. See, the author here, Arthur C. Clarke, is a genius. He invented the communication satellite, which keeps the world connected today. And he used that engineering skill and that knowledge to inform him on 2001: A Space Odyssey. And this was when big budget science fiction really became real, because the stuff before that had been kind of schlocky, okay? B movies, giant ants and giant tarantulas and everything else, but this was a serious undertaking of understanding the impact of artificial intelligence and where we go. And notice what happened. When did HAL break down? And if you don't know where the name HAL came from, look at your keyboard and look next to IBM. He just moved 1 letter to the left, HAL, IBM. That's where HAL came from, if you didn't know that. But HAL did not break down until he was left alone. Think about that. Think about the power, even in artificial intelligence, and the need for interaction with other beings. Now, my favorite series of all time is Dune. And I don't know how many of you saw the new movie. I think Denis Villeneuve did a great job with the new movie. I'm looking forward to the next one. But this book, understanding the impact of a scarcity economy, which he based on the fictional Melange, was kind of really based on water and the impact of water on a society and water scarcity. But what did Dune do? Dune gave us a whole world. This is really the first of the world builders, because he spent so much time talking about the economics of the world of Dune. Not just the economics, but the sociology, the religion, the philosophies, the generational planning from the Bene Gesserit, as well as some of the other schools. And so what we see is a full world developed for the first time. And this book, I think I'm up to about 20 times I've read through the Dune series now. And what's amazing to me is I pick up something new every time I read, something that just didn't land on me. I mean, I remember reading one time, I'm like, oh, Zen and Sunni Islam. Oh, I get it now. I never gotten that before. Okay. And so Dune brings us to a world builder. Now, if you want a warning for the future, probably the most influential science fiction novel ever written in terms of the impact on society is George Orwell's 1984. Because what that does, if you take a look at the way language has changed, if you take a look at the way people talk about those that came before, and then they have an effort to change the history, change the perception of what has gone before, these are things that Orwell predicted would occur. Newspeak, the government, three different groups going against each other. And what do we see today? We see three major powers that are really in a balancing act. And quite often, two of them are paired off against the other one. So we're seeing this in fruition. But the one book that my parents would not let me read as a child was a science fiction book. And you might be able to guess what it is, because this is a hard book for an adult to get through. I think it's even harder for a kid to get through. Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. And it wasn't because of the adult themes of it in terms of the relations between people. No, it was about the adult themes of an individual being out of place in his own country, in his own world, and the struggles and the philosophies that get done, and this complete, Tan Staffel, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, which is a theme that runs throughout Heinlein. So why do I say science fiction matters? Because it informs us of the human condition. It predicts the human condition. The best science fiction, the science fiction that matters, isn't the space operas. It isn't the space wars. What it is are these novels, these short stories that place us in a position where we can explore humanity from a different perspective, by looking at it from the future, from an alien society. And that's what it does. It helps us question, what does it mean to be human in this time, in any time? So if your children come home to you and tell you that their teacher wasn't happy they were reading science fiction, I wouldn't mind if you shared a copy of this with them, because what science fiction does is it reflects and examines the human condition and even predicts it. And together, that helps us understand what it means to be human. Mr. Toastmaster.
What a wonderful, Mr. President. So you're right on time. Oh, wow. Let's have a question and answer session first, and then I will introduce the Toastmaster of the day. Yes, any questions? Yes, Toastmaster Abra.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Matt Kinsey. It was very interesting, and I was throughout engaged within your speech, though I don't like science fiction. Even though I didn't like science fiction, but I do believe in every science, because I have seen many writers, including Alan Hubbard and the writers you mentioned. Behind every science fiction, my question to you is, behind every science fiction, I do believe that there is a concept of spirituality and civilization. So, in my opinion, all these science fiction writers, they try to convey the message in the form of a science fiction that can portray, but taking out a message from that science fiction is very difficult. My question is, why don't writer adopt a simple way so that a common man like me could understand? Because I believe science fiction is very difficult to understand. Taking out a message from a science fiction, it's a hard nut to crack.
It can be. It can be a hard nut to crack. I mean, getting the lessons out of Stranger in a Strange Land That takes a lot of thought. Even Dune is so deep that it's like peeling back layers. Okay, it's like reading the Quran or the Bible. It's, there's layers, and then you think you got it and you read it again and you find something else, and because you weren't ready to read or learn or be exposed to that idea yet. And so science fiction can be like that. Literature can be like that. Okay, but I think what science fiction does is it gives us different perspective on the human condition that allows us to be less judgmental, because we understand that this is a future society, this is an alien society. So we suspend our disbelief and we are less in judgment of them than we are of fellow human beings. But they often represent the best, the brightest, or the worst characteristics of human cultures quite often. Because for us to ride a truly alien society is almost impossible. So we have to stretch our imagination. So I think that's what science fiction does. And if you look at that through that lens of what can I learn about humanity from this, I think that helps with the understanding. But poetry has many nuanced layers of meaning. Literature does, other than what we used to call the dime store novel, which were westerns or romance novels or space operas, where there's really not a point to it. It's just military and weapons. So I think that's something to consider, that any literature is going to stretch your thinking, and the more you're open to that, the more you're doing it. Now, and I'll also say this, Abrar, if you and I read the same book and we get different things out of it, that's okay. That's okay, because it's going to speak to you differently than it's going to speak to me.
Yes, I do understand that every individual have different realities, because when you mentioning that you were reading that book many times, and every time you were reading a book, you were having a new message. And this happens to me. Any book I'm reading, whenever I read it again, I find, oh wow, I didn't even notice this one is also there. So this happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Safe, we're not hearing you.
See, as usual, I was muted. Toastmaster Medina, do you have any question?
Oh, I'm full of questions. My teenage years favorite books, Asimov trilogy, the Foundation trilogy. Now, I grew up in Hungary, socialist Hungary. So many of the books you mentioned wasn't available. Anything I could put my hands on, I read, and Asimov was. And for some reason, and I don't know, looks like you like Star Wars, but Star Wars never stick to me, because I always felt as a copycat compared to the Foundation trilogy. Don't you think similarly, or?
There's seldom, everything that I can think of that I've read has been at least partially derived from something else. And so I think what it comes down to is, have you extended the story? Have you made the story your own? And so that's why I can read the Chronicle of the Lensman, and I can watch the Seven Samurai, and I can watch Star Wars and see the beauty in each of those, even though it is highly derivative. But if you like fantasy, every single fantasy novel out there is highly derivative of Lord of the Rings. And if you like horror, every horror novel out there is highly derivative of H.P. Lovecraft. Okay, so somebody has to be the first, and then everything else builds on that. And those rare breakthroughs, when they're like a William Gibson with Neuromancer, where it's truly a breakthrough, where it's like, okay, wow, this is different. Those are unusual. And then they become the standard to carry a new genre around.
And
Thank you.
Thing, I think, I just, that who started that science fiction, in my opinion is Jules Verne. What-
Actually, most people would say Mary Shelley is the first science fiction novel. Frankenstein is the first true science fiction novel.
That is.
But Jules Verne is the one who made it into a category.
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. It was wonderful, and I learned a couple of new titles that I will read.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Marina, and thank you very much, Mr. President. And we learn a lot from you. And today you open many chapters for me, many of windows for me to go through it. And any science student can go for the fiction also. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the subject you have selected for us. And by since we are approaching our time allocated for keynote speech. So thank you very much. So nice of you. And we wish that you will continue to join if your time permit with us, so we can proceed as per our regular meeting agenda. Thank you very much. So nice of you, DTM Matt, Mr. President. And by this, I will request, the person who is going to take over as a Toastmaster of the day. My personal experience with him, if I'm saying anything and I'm requesting anything for him, he never say no, I can't make it. I don't have the time. Whether he has a time or not, but he never say no to anything. If it is any within his limitation, he will go ahead and do it. And not do it, he
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As timer, I am timing the speeches, table topic speeches, and the evaluations. And at the appropriate time when asked for, I will give the report. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Sarfraz Nazir. And now we have our very own DTM Talhabin Hamid in the meeting. So I would like to call the geek of the week, DTM Talhabin Hamid, in a huge round of applause, that DTM Talhabin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. So today in Geek of the Week, I will return to one of my favorite topics, and that is the double slit experiment. Now, how many of you know about the double slit experiment or have heard about it? Raise your hands. No hands?
only one, Marina.
What is that word? You are silent. Your mic is off.
Double slit experiment.
Yeah, I do know.
Okay, great. So now double slit experiment, I will just display a diagram. It is one of the strangest phenomena known to man, and what's more, it has still not been solved. Why does this precisely happen? There are theories around it, but none of them actually conclusively decide that why does this phenomenon happen. Now, I'll simplify it for everyone. Now, on your left, you see a lamp. And there's a screen with two slits, and on the right, there's another screen on which particles gather. So the particles start traveling from the lamp. They pass through one of these two slits, and then they land on this screen on the right-hand side. So the pattern that you see, the orange and yellow, that's called an interference pattern. So when several photons are fired, they interlace with each other like this. They intersect with each other. Sometimes they reinforce each other.
and sometimes they cancel each other. Now, we're talking about photons. So what is this talk of canceling and reinforcing? Because photons are both a particle and a wave. So they behave like a wave when they pass through the double slits, and they interfere with each other and form a pattern like this. Now, that much is clear, and that is pretty logical, that, they just like water waves cancel each other and reinforce each other, every wave cancels each other and reinforces each other. But then that's where it starts getting weird. When you fire a single photon from one of the slits, still the same pattern emerges, the interference pattern. Somehow, the photon is interfering with itself. Under quantum mechanics, again, I find it to be a very loose interpretation. It's just making things as we go along, but bear with me here. Under quantum physics, quantum mechanics, we don't really know where a particle is. So we assume that even though it passed through one of the slits, it may have passed through the other slit as well. So there's a probability wave. But even that does not explain how does the particle interact with itself. In order to solve this mystery, scientists did one more thing. They placed sensors on the first screen with two slits. And to find out whether the particle was passing through one slit or through both slits at the same time. And can you guess what happened? When they did that, the interference did not happen. It did not happen. Then scientists did one more thing. They placed those sensors after the first screen rather than before the first screen, so that the photon which left the lamp did not know that it was being observed. But guess what? When that photon crossed the slits, it still did not form an interference pattern. It behaved exactly like a particle. They removed the sensors and back to the interference pattern. They reinstated the sensors, no interference pattern. Here, a law of physics was being changed based on whether it was being observed or not. This is the double slit experiment. There are multiple interpretations of it, multiple versions of it. It has even done, like this is done in space. Recently, it was done in time too, and the same results happened. Like one photon was sent through a slit, and then over a period of several seconds, it also formed an interference pattern. So it is true for both space and time. And right now, the only conclusion is that photons seem to know whether they're being observed or not and behave accordingly. If they're being observed, they behave like a particle. If they're not being observed, they behave like a wave. Now, there are several theories explaining that. Some say that, the detectors are placed, they also interfere because you cannot observe anything without disturbing it. That's a universal law. But even that does not explain the phenomenon where the detectors were placed in a position where they could not have interfered in any way with the photons. And yet the photons knew that they were being observed. So you're all encouraged to Google this and find out more about it. I can guarantee you one thing. The double slit experiment is one of the strangest natural phenomenon you have ever come across. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Geek of the Week, DTM Talhab bin Hamid. Fellow Toastmasters, now it's time to have prepared speech. Raise your hand if you love surprises. I'm one of you who loves surprises. Wait, no one loves surprises? Okay, but I love to give surprise to everyone. And now, right now, I have a surprise for all of you as well. Our prepared speech for today's meeting will be done by DTM Iram Rizvi. DTM Iram Rizvi is an engineer, entrepreneur, born brought up in UAE and a Toastmaster for 4 years for District 105 and District 122, Pakistan. She is also a district winner for year 2022 to 2023, a certified pathway mentor, and a proud mother of 4. She will be delivering her level 1, project 3, presentation mastery. And you know who's the evaluator? She will be evaluated by our none other than the immediate past district director and a proud VP education of Quantum Leap Toastmaster Club, DTM Talha bin Hamid. So I would like to ask DTM Talha bin Hamid, please give the project statement of DTM Iram Rizvi's speech. In your huge round of applause, DTM Talha bin Hamid. So your mic is muted.
Sorry. Today, DTM Iram Rizvi is delivering the project Researching and Presenting. And in this, the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic research methods that present a well-organized, well-researched speech on a topic. Select a topic that you're not already familiar with or that you wish to learn more about. So that is DTM Iram's project today. And we also have a panel of evaluators. So, all right. Just give me a second. I don't remember because I only made the agenda. So, all right. Lead evaluator would be myself. We need a volunteer for visual evaluator. So maybe Toastmaster Muazzam, you could be the, or maybe, okay, let's reach out to Wordwise. Or, okay, we have Toastmaster Usama Ali. Toastmaster Usama, would you like to be the visual evaluator?
DTM Iram?
Yes.
Okay, I will be the visual evaluator.
All right. So our visual evaluator will be Toastmaster Usama Ali. Our auditory evaluator will be Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim. Our perceptible evaluator will be DTM Saad Shoaib, and our structural evaluator will be DTM Saif Ali Sheikh. So, DTM Iram, what's the title of your speech?
What was the title?
Add a smile.
Add a smile.
Sorry?
Add a smile.
Can you type it in the chat box?
Yeah, sure.
Add a smile.
Add a smile. All right. So everyone, please put your hands together for DTM Iram Rizvi. Add a smile. Add a smile. DTM Iram Rizvi.
Thank you very much. Did you know that 30 million years ago in the evolution period, how did the first smile come up? Does anybody know? Apart from word-wise people. The first smile was made by apes and by monkeys. In fact, there were apes at that time more. And it used to be called fear grin. Try with me. Just give a curve. And this fear grin came because when there would be something very huge, very large, that is about to attack you in form of any animal, then the apes would give the fear grin to show that I'm little, I'm harmless. And if you try doing this even with the kids, that once they do something wrong, they just slightly give a and that was the evolution of smile, the very first smile that happened. I got this research part from Priyoshof Singh in 1992, Laughter and Smile in Barbara Macquarie's book of ethology. The second research part that I'm going to share with you is that when was the first smile with the teeth was shown up. You will not believe that actually happened in a portrait painting of 1780s. That was the very first time we had the teeth in a portrait. Otherwise, the smiles were the same way that how we have seen how Mona Lisa has the smile of Leonardo da Vinci. And this was shown in Azad in Carol in 1971. It was shared in the Face of Emotions in the New York. So these are the few facts about smiles. And today I'm going to share with you just quickly few points about how to add smiles in your normal speeches, in probably your normal conversations while you're doing trainings or having a talk or probably even doing presentations that might help you embed and have a better audience engagement. The very first part I would say is that whenever you would want to have a good conversation or a connection with your audience, it's always better to start with a joke. Now, how would we do that? For example, you're giving a presentation on climate change and you want to start it with a joke to lighten it up because it's a serious topic. So you could do an example. Picture this. You're lounging on a tropical beach, sipping a refreshing drink with a tiny umbrella when suddenly the waves start getting a bit too close for the comfort. No, it's not the effects of the climate change yet. I was just trying a dramatic introduction. And start off with your audience. Bring in something that makes them smile, bring them to think over it. Next, I would say is that we should use metaphors. Metaphors are very good for connecting and it adds humor in a playful way, but not too serious humor. I'm doing a speech on teamwork and I could say something like, teamwork is a three-legged race. We are all in it together. If one of us falls, we all fail and we all fall. So this connects, this gives an example and this actually makes people laugh or smile a bit that, you're connecting with them in a daily stuff. And it's always nice to show that while you are doing the speech or you're the presenter or you're writing a speech, try to show that you're as normal as the audience. Whenever we try to show that we have something too big for the audience, we don't connect well with the people. And it's called using self-deprecating humor. Now, self-deprecating humor is a great way to build rapport with your audience. And here I could do something like that. If I'm giving a speech about leadership, for example, then I would say in the beginning or somewhere after introduction, I could say, I'm here to talk to you about leadership, but as someone who got lost in department store, I might not be the best person to take advice for directions. So show them that you're similar to them. You're not something too out of the box. And this is why whatever you're going to say comes in the same way of the audience. You're not going to bring something which is too big for them to understand. And that's called self-deprecating. I really love that point. Apart from this, we should use something like pop culture references. This is very important. Right now, if I look at my audience over here, I can see someone as green-aged as DTM Saif and as young as DTM Saad and Toastmaster Osama Ali and Toastmaster Moazzam. Now, for the young, I have to take many names. Iram Rizvi. So we have a lot of age ranges over here, and we have cultural people. For example, we have Toastmaster Mariana over here, coming from different place. We have Toastmaster Martin over here. So bring a pop culture thing, which is easy for everyone to understand. And that is, for example, I could say that technology is evolving so fast that every time I buy a new phone, by the time I take it out of the box, it's already outdated. It's like trying to keep up with Kardashians. So this shows that the person who's speaking knows what you speak and knows about what's happening around, and it's not closed in a box. And of course, the biggest one is using physical humor. Wherever possible, bring in the facial expressions, bring in the gestures, even bring up the pops. Do you remember Kahtani's speech, the one that he won World Championship with? So in that, what he did was, while he was going monotone for a long time, he brought in the topic about the scientists that spoke about climate change. And suddenly he changed his voice to, so here we have the charts that show that the climatical change is affecting the ozone layer. And he connected well because he got the physical humor. He changed his voice, he changed his gesture, he changed his body language. So bring that in as much as possible. And the one favorite of mine is have stool. tell a story with a humor touch. You fell down, you were trying to catch up, you're jumping in that story, you did some push-ups, you're changing up characters, and this really works on well. So most of the things that I have shared today are referenced up from a couple of people. For example, it's from Gladstone in 2002. The topic was, when you're smiling, does the whole world smile for you? I have also a few points taken up from Hakana's in 2010, laughter and smiling, notes on co-occurrences. I've also taken topics for some points from Tracy Jessica, from Bella Electing, happy guy finishes last. And there are a few points taken up from Baker Hallett, who's pulling your strings, how to break the cycle of manipulation. So I hope these points, they support you a bit next time when you're doing your speeches or trying to do presentations. And if you need them in a PowerPoint slide, or if you need them on a written form, do please send me a ping. Thank you very much for listening, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, our first speaker, DTM Matt. And now it's time to call the timer for the timer's report. So in your huge round of applause, please help me welcome DTM Sarfraz Nazir for timer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. First, I'll mention the keynote. The keynote was 15 minutes, followed by 7 minutes and 29 seconds of Q&A. The Geek of the Week presentation was 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Our speaker, Iram Rizvi's speech, 7 minutes, 17 seconds. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Sarfraz Nazir, that timer for such a wonderful and an explained report of timer that you were gone in seconds as well. So now it's time to have the favorite session of every Toastmaster, the favorite session of every guest, the impromptu speech session, the table topic session.
TMOD, we are supposed to have the evaluation now. Please look at the agenda.
Sir,
the evaluation session.
The chat and the agenda are different. In chat, we discussed that we will do the table topic session first. Okay.
Where?
No issue, sir.
Okay,
let's
fine. Go ahead then.
Let's move to the evaluation session. So let's move to the evaluation session. And for the evaluation of DTM Iram's speech, I would like to call the lead evaluator of the speech. Please help me welcome DTM Talhabin Hamid.
Thank you so much, TMOD. So I will start with the conventional evaluation, 2 to 3 minutes. And after that, there will be round robin evaluation. So DTM Iram, how to bring a smile in everything that you do. First of all, let me tell you that your speech had the perfect balance of data and inspiration. It was not a laundry list of things to do or too much data-centric. And it was also not that vague so that it would not be a researching and presenting project. So I believe, congratulations, that you achieved that balance perfectly. And I believe that everyone, without even referring to your speech, again, would remember in large part about what you said, about the various types of humor, about how to bring smiles. So objectives of the project were superbly achieved. Secondly, I also liked your tone. It was more informational, which it should have been, and in line with keeping with the project. Thirdly, you highlight in terms of content, of course. I love the fact that you brought in research as well as your own experiences, which made it something completely unique. Because it is very easy to get off-the-shelf research and then regurgitate it, in front of an audience. And several speakers do that when they do researching and presenting, and it's perfectly legal to do that. But you brought in your own personal flavor that actually set apart your speech from other speeches in this project. A few improvement areas. The first is that a lack of animation. I won't go down the trodden path and ask you to stand up. I know that not every speech requires standing up, but maybe you could have been a little more animated in terms of illustrating your smiles and in terms of movement, moving from one segment of the speech to another. Slight bit of movement, nothing too dramatic. And secondly, I also detected that you could have added a bit more vocal variety at times, where having added smiles to your material, you could have really conveyed a sense of joy and glee on having done that, or letting the audience feel that joy. So overall, I believe that you achieved the project objectives spectacularly well. In terms of your content, we thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot. In terms of your delivery, it was a little bit muted at times, but at the same time, it had an informational tone, which I believe was what was required. So yeah, it sounds paradoxical because it is paradoxical, but that's what your speeches end up doing. So don't blame us. So with that, I go on to my first modular evaluator, and that is our visual evaluator, Toastmaster Osama Ali. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lead Evaluator, for handing over the stage. Well, as always, DTM IDEM comes with some exciting topics every time, and the way she does the research and present it 10 by 10 for her preparation. But I would like to add some few points as a visual evaluator. I believe that facial expression and gestures were great, but as being a little bit complex topic, as you were giving some references from the data of the previous data. So if you would have added a presentation in which there would have been a bullet points, so it would have been more appealing to the audience, and the audience would have known that what they are listening to, because when you are speaking, I don't think that everyone can remember all the words that what you have spoke. So if it would have been a presentation in which you would have written some points, it would have been more interesting for audience to remember. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Osama Ali. Now we move on to our auditory evaluator. Fittingly enough, a speech therapist. Be very scared, DTM mirror. Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim. Yeah, I designed it that way.
All right. Am I audible and visible? All right. So I could observe, so I have an auditory part, so I could observe meaningful pauses, I would say, where you ask the question from the audience, do you know, and you paused, you stopped for a while to get answers from the audience. So they were also about the loudness was there, and they were useful pauses. But just one thing more, when you said it's not the correct, when you're talking about the climate change. So I could see a good amount of voice modulation, and it was great when you were transitioning to the other elements. So your gestures align with the words elicited. And I would also like to say that in the end, you went on very quickly. I just want to add one improvement part. You went on very quickly, and I couldn't get the essence, like when you the way you were during your speech. So how about you could have asked the question from the audience, or pause for a while, or so but it was a little quick in the end. I think it was because of the time, I guess, but it was it was very good actually, if I summarize it in my own way. So thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim. Next, we move on to our perceptible evaluator, DTM Sachwe. Over to you.
Thank you very much, lead evaluator DTM Tala. DTM Iram, I believe your speech was perceived excellently by the audience. You gave examples throughout your speech, and you also demonstrated each and every action you were talking about. So I believe perception wise, that was a on spot speech. Over to you, lead evaluator.
Thank you so much. Next, we have our structural and language evaluator, DTM Seth. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lead Evaluator, and in particular, DTM Iram Rizvi. Let me focus first to the structure part. If time permits, then I will go to the language one. So in the structure, there are 3 points are there: opening, body, and the conclusion. Let me take one by one first. In the opening, you started with the question, do you know 30 million years ago, apes giving the smile with the fear of grimms? That was a great opening. Let's coming to the body part of that one. Your project is the research one, and you appropriately shared research paper. I will say the research paper on the smile, successfully shared with us from the 300 million, then you start with the 1780, then you came in 1971, then 1992. What a wonderful. And you gave us a tip how to be successfully. You can smile with the metaphor, with the self-deprecation, cultural references, and the joke. That's a wonderful thing. And in the conclusion part, it's little abrupt. You concluded. And the one thing that I don't like for the speaker, say the thank you at the end of the speech, because we are the audience, who are getting the benefit from the speaker. We are the one who can say the thank you, not the speaker say thank you to the audience. I think if you will avoid to thank you again in your next project, that will be great. It's a red light is on, so I am going to conclude it here. Over to the lead evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Sarfraz. And now I'll...
DTM Chef, not the Sarfraz. Sarfraz is the timer.
My apologies, sir. My apologies. My apologies. Okay, thank you, Mr. President. We now move on back to DTM Iram for her feedback on the feedback.
Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate your time. And I would say thank you here. This is different from speech, that everyone has put up their valuable inputs. I agree with DTM Saif. The thank you was, I'd never done that. I don't know why did I do that? Probably because I was in the mindset of sharing a research and presentation. Maybe that's why. Otherwise, in speeches, it's never there. It's always contest chair or TMOD. So thank you. I have noted that point. Secondly, I agree that my end was abrupt. And that is because I had one more point to share and the red light was there. So that other last point had something to do with the conclusion. And this is why it went abrupt. So thank you so much. I'm going to time myself better. This speech, I did not practice on 5 to 7 minutes. So I love the part that quantum always gives me challenge. And I've done that today. This speech was much longer. So I'll add that up. And I also agreed that because there were few points and because it was a research project, so there should have been a presentation. I agree with that. So at least those points could be remembered, that what the headings were. So thank you so much for your valuable feedback. I'm going to make sure that in my next research or presentation, I'm going to embed them. Over to you, General Evaluator. Oh, sorry, just the evaluator, lead evaluator.
Thank you so much. We are all taking the wrong names today, so join the club. And I agree with you. No, I do not agree with one thing. It does not necessarily have to have a presentation, I don't think, if, the data is clear enough. But again, it's up to the speaker. Yes, in terms of having something to share after the speech, then a presentation would be valuable, but then it would be a handout and not necessarily be a presentation. Secondly, my compliments to you. since I know that you compressed a keynote / workshop into a 5 to 7 minute speech. So absolutely fantastic job done there, DTM Europe. And I'll hand over the charge back now to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Muazzam.
Thank you so much, DTM Hamid, for such a wonderful evaluation, and thank you so much to your panel as well. And now it's time to move, finally it's time to move to the table topic session, the favorite session of everyone, mostly my favorite session. For that session, we have our very young and passionate Toastmaster. In your huge round of applause, please help me welcome Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope everyone is ready and I'm audible and visible as well. Yes. So I just want to say one thing. Yesterday I was very sleepy and I couldn't make the, topics. And just in the morning, I, I took 12 minutes and I prepared the topics. So let's begin. Yes. So I will give you the topic and I would ask the one which I would leave, I want to call. For the first topic, I think if anyone want to volunteer, they can also volunteer. But for the first topic, I just want to give to Toastmaster Mariana, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. So if you get the opportunity to be a scientist and even get the grant for your experiment, what will be your invention? I repeat, if you get the opportunity to be a scientist and even get the grant for your experiment, what will be your invention? Toastmaster Mariana, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters. Well, I am a nutritionist, so I am interested in anything regarding human body. But if I would be a scientist and I would have unlimited money, somebody would finance what I want, I would research and solve schizophrenia. I would want to treat schizophrenia because we have lots of mental illnesses, but I think the most unfair mental illness is schizophrenia because that is where a person lives a normal life. Everything is fine. And then in a second, it changes. And nobody knows, not even the person himself, that when that happens and can turn out to be a killer, can turn out to be a bad person and not at fault of his own. And that is so unfair. Most mental illness, we know that it's there, we treat it, and we help if we can. But schizophrenia is something that not visible. It's there, but not visible. And that's why I think this is the most unfair illness. If I would have the research facility with unlimited finances, I would put all my energy and time to find a solution to schizophrenia. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mariana. And now I would like to call Toastmaster Maria H. I think she might be interested to be the table topic speaker. Yes.
Yes, I am interested.
Okay. So your topic is being invisible is fun, right? If you get invisible for a day, what adventures will you do, or something different you would like to, or something different you would do? Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim. If I become invisible, being a mental health advocate, and what Mariana said, Toastmaster Mariana said, I love to enter into the brain of people and find out what may schizophrenia may be, or any mental illness that happens. And being a mental health advocate, I'll make sure that whatever I learn in the process of being invisible, I conduct workshop, I become vocal about it, and make sure that, prevention, although it's said that schizophrenia itself is genetical, but I'll make sure that the environment is friendly to schizophrenic people, and maybe if it could be avoided, even 10% chances of it being avoided, I should be able to do it, because as I have entered into the brain of people, so I exactly know what might have happened. I'm just keeping myself positive on that. So yes, that is what I'll do for the first time. And then it's going to be about other diseases, but schizophrenia is something close to my heart too, because a person in my family, a close one, suffers through it, and I've seen their journey. So yes, that is being invisible advantage. And I really look forward to the fact that, maybe I'll be able to enter his brain, the person that I'm talking about, or maybe, I talk to him, although I do talk to him. So I'll be able to make change in his life and life of people who are suffering from any mental illness, especially schizophrenia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Maria. Now I would like to call our dear timer, who has volunteered himself. If DTM Sarfaraz, can you be the speaker for the table topics? Anyone can time you. I can even time you.
Yes, Toastmaster Zara, we have a few other guests that you might want to use them first.
I will also be calling. I can call them first, and then I will go. Yeah. Okay. We have Toastmaster Martin Galvez. Galvez, are you here with us? Toastmaster Martin. We even have a guest, Mario. Guest Mario. Are you here with us, sir? All right. So, DTM Sarfaraz, can I call you if you're interested to be a speaker?
Madam Table
Yes.
Topics Master, I can take one.
Okay, you can do the.
Ajay.
All right. Okay. If you am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a cricket fan? So I can ask. You are? Okay. If you ever imagine in cricket, or would you like to be a bowler? Or, and who will be your, I would say, inspiration to follow their footsteps or something? Want to tell about it? Can I repeat?
Yes, ma'am. Can you please repeat? Your voice is breaking.
If you ever imagine yourself being in cricket, would you like to be a bowler or a cricketer? And who will you follow? Will you be following as the inspiration? Do you take any inspiration from someone? Over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Table Topics Master, for this topic. As Indians, we are die-hard fans of the game cricket. It's a kind of worshipping God in our country. Like it's the same in Pakistan. So when you're asking me, I like to bat or like to bowl, I will go for batting instead of bowling because I can make a lot of runs, and since childhood I'm not a big bowler. I just love to bat. Whenever I get an opportunity, I love to bat. And when it comes to inspiration, I take inspiration from MS Dhoni because of his leadership. He is the captain who took the country to the top in all formats, whether it may be T20 or one-day internationals or test matches or whatever it may be. Under his leadership, the country has won a lot of trophies. So he is called as Mr. Cool in India, and so when it comes to the leadership or when it comes to the inspiration part, I would like to be MS Dhoni. Thank you so much, madam. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Toastmaster Ajay Kumar. Now I would like to call Toastmaster Mustafa Awan. Are you here with us? Okay, Toastmaster Mustafa. All right. So I can call Toastmaster Osama Ali. Would you like to take a topic?
Yeah, I am always ready.
Okay. Okay. Yes. If you can relate yourself with any movie character, which character will it be and how it resonates with you? I repeat,
Okay.
if you can relate yourself.
Sorry, I would like to add you one thing that I don't watch movies, so don't ask me any question related to movies.
Another
It's difficult.
I can ask you a serious question. If you get a chance to erase a memory, what would it be? And share a memory you will cherish for a lifetime. I repeat, if you get a chance to erase a memory, what would it be? And a memory you will cherish for your lifetime.
I don't- quite a difficult question to ask because
Okay, I can ask you another question. What are the 3 traits within a person you look up to as a spouse? I can ask you this question.
I like this question.
You can volunteer, you can help him as well, if you like. I repeat, what are the 3 traits within a person you look up to as your future spouse, if you're not married yet? Toastmaster Osama.
He got stuck seeing the question.
I think he is shy person. He's blushing right now.
For like 10 seconds. And
Too many questions freezes the screen. Froze the screen.
DTM Saad, are you here with us? DTM Saad. Okay, he is not in a mood to open the video as well. All right.
Please ask nicely, perhaps he will.
Ask nicely. I was about to say same thing.
Would you like to take a topic?
DTM sir, I will request you for one topic. Are you accepting a topic from me?
All right, let's move further. I would like to call DTM Talha. He might be a last speaker. DTM Talha, would you like to be a table topic speaker?
All right.
Okay. I don't know what's happening actually, so sorry from my end as well. Okay. So it's a very deep question actually, which I wanted to give DTM Sarfaraz. I think he's also busy. Yeah. If you ever get
DTM Sarfaraz is timing, I believe. So, sir, are you available for a table topic?
Yes, I think the Toastmaster Zara Ibrahim is not going to end the table topic session until or unless I am one of the speakers. So I will, in the interest of everyone, to not let the meeting go on and on, I'll go ahead and answer her question.
All right, and I'll time you, sir, so you can turn on your video.
Okay, yeah, just a second.
All right. DTM Sarfaraz, your topic is, if you ever get the opportunity to go deep down the sea, will you explore anything? If yes, what will it be? I repeat, if you ever get the opportunity to go deep down the sea, will you go? Or if yes, what will you explore? Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. If you had asked me a few days ago, if I had the opportunity to go down deep down, I might have said, yes, I'll go down, explore, perhaps look at the wreckage of the Titanic ship. But now that we know what happened to the submersible, the 5 passengers that were on board, they're most likely no longer. And the answer would be no. Because now I'm not sure that it's safe to go deep down. There's a lot to explore right here on this Earth, the planet. So I don't think so I need to go up in this experimental spacecrafts or in this experimental submersible. But what I would like to explore, I would like to find out more about you. Because I was hoping that when you asked what the 3 qualities of a marriage are, I thought you would ask DTM Saad Shoaib to answer that. And I was wanted to know, explore his brain, what are those 3 qualities? But unfortunately, he was not available to answer that. So in case of the question, back to your question, my answer is right now, I will not go down. But if I had the opportunity and I was willing to go down, I would like to look at some of the wreckages, including the Titanic, and find out what were some of the articles that they left behind or they had with them at the time when the ship went down. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, DTM Sarfaraz. You were actually very right. I was supposed to question this. It was supposed to be answered by DTM Saad. It was not. It was just I don't want to ask him directly. It was, So it's okay. You don't want to answer it right now, but it's completely fine. I think the table topics time is ended, or we can take one more speaker.
Toastmaster Sama is here. You can ask him.
I think we can take one more because we didn't have one speech. So yeah.
Okay. So I think someone said guest Mario is available if I'm not wrong. Yes. Guest Mario.
Here.
Yes. So sir, the topic is yes. If you can ever relate yourself with any movie or even an animated one, which character will it be and how it resonates with you?
Can you type the question in the chat, please?
Can you repeat, sir?
Can you type the chat in the question?
Okay, sure, I can. Just give me a second.
Thank you. Has anyone ever watched any anime? Please raise your hand if yes, or keep it down if no. Have any one of you watched Dragon Ball by any chance? Saad, if you had to choose between Goku and Vegeta, which one would you go for? Here's my interactive table topics.
Any day of the week, it's supposed to be Vegeta.
Vegeta. And why not Goku?
Because what I believe he's so much boring than Goku because he's so much like like I'm good, I'm nice, and I control the power and so on. So that makes him boring.
Yeah, I agree with that. The concept in Dragon Ball is Goku has always been hungry for power, and Vegeta, they're both aliens that land on planet Earth in hopes to conquer it. But Goku at an early age hits his head, and because of an amnesia, he forms a bond with his grandfather Gohan. Over time, Vegeta comes to the planet, coming to conquer it, loses to Goku and his friends. Eventually, they form a rivalry, but also friendship. Goku's approach to fighting, which is the main purpose of being a Saiyan, a warrior race, is always to prove himself that he can do better, to outdo his opponents. Whereas Vegeta's approach at the beginning was conquering, killing. Over time, he became more compassionate. Now, both are important in the series, but I feel I'm leaning towards Vegeta because he's a family man. Goku isn't. Back to you, Topics Master.
Thank you very much. Table topic. I was about to say table topic master. Thank you so much, the speaker. I think our time is has finished, or we still have time.
Let me look at the agenda. I think we should move on though.
Yes.
Just a second. Oh, we still have time.
We have, because only DE is left. Yeah, only general evaluator is left here.
I have to something.
The last question to Prasad.
I want to ask you something. Favor. If you can give a topic to DTM Sahar, then he can answer.
Let me give the topic to the Saad, the DTM Saad. The topic for you. What are the 3 traits you're looking from the spouse?
Thank you very much.
You can change the question. It's okay.
No.
As DTM Madam said, it's illegal to change the question. It's just a new
Challenge
regulation for Toastmasters. So yeah, go ahead, Saad.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for putting me right on the spot. And yes, the 3 traits in a spouse. I believe the number one thing which is important is a bit of transparency and honesty. No matter if it's right or wrong, there must be a sense of transparency between both of them, and I would connect that one with the next 2, which are compromising and actually being understandable toward each other's a situation. And since I was waiting for the light to come on, and that has come on, so thank you very much. Back to the table topic master, or Mr. President, over to you.
Back to the table topic master.
All right. Thank you very much for attempting DTM Sahar. And now I would like to hand over this charge to general evaluator, if I'm not wrong, or the table.
Well, I was
TMOD.
I was left because my light gone, so I am ready for speaking.
Okay, but I think we don't have time. We have time.
Yeah, we have a minute. So yeah, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay. If you have to choose any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it for good? You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, yes, please repeat.
If you have to choose any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it for good? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Madam Table Topics Master. I believe that it's a really great topic. That if I would be having any superpower, what would I do with it? So, if I would be having any superpower, that superpower would be reading people's minds, and how I would be using it for good. That I believe that if I would be working at any government post where where, uh, where there are where they are always, you can say, mm, catching the criminals. So before any bad is done in society, the already criminals which we are having in jails, which we would be reading their minds, that how their minds work, and how they plan these bad criminal activities. So I would be having that superpower to read people's minds, and so that we can make a better and good society, and we can eliminate crime for our society. So I wish I would be having that superpower. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sama Ali. Now I would like to hand over this charge to our TM Modi, who is none other than TM Muazzam. Over to you. I hope you liked the table topic session, and it was okay. All right. Over to you.
Thank you so much, the table topic master, Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim. And now we'll be having the timeless person.
Just a second.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Since this is quantum leap scientific, so my time is going to be in 1/100th of seconds. I already mentioned the time of the speech or prepared speech was 7 minutes 14 seconds. The evaluations, the lead evaluator, DTM Talha bin Hamid, 3 minutes 16.05 seconds. Visual, Toastmaster Sama Ali, 1 minute 5.83 seconds. Toastmaster Zahra Ibrahim, 1 minute 18.78 seconds. DTM Saad Shoaib was 28.57 seconds. And we can understand why. I guess he's nervous since somebody else is online, so he's trying not to say too much. The DTM Saif Ali Sheikh, 1 minute 44.48 seconds. And then speaker Aaron Rizvi talked for 1 minute 12.64 seconds. Table topics. First speaker Mariana, 1 minute 41.17 seconds. Maria was 1 minute 41.84 seconds. Ajay Kumar, 1 minute 17.26 seconds. Mario, 2 minutes 17.77 seconds. DTM Saad Shoaib, 1 minute 20.01 second. And Osama Ali, 1 minute. It was actually 59 point something, so I rounded off to 1 minute to give him the green light. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Sarfraz Nazir, for such an explained report, for such a wonderful report. And now I would like to ask DTM Taha, do we have a poll for table topic winner? The best table topic speaker.
Yes, actually, I'll need a list of speakers. I request either our timer or Toastmaster Zahra to put a list in the chat box, and then I'll float the poll. All right?
Okay,
so you
sure.
can continue the meeting.
During that meanwhile, we are moving to the feedback to the breakfast of the champions. And let's move to the general evaluation session. With general evaluator, we have digital marketing manager of US-based software house, a certified digital marketing professional. And you know what? What I liked about him? He is the youngest DTM of Pakistan and member of Toastmasters since 2019. Yes, you guys are right. I'm talking about DTM Sar Shahib. So please welcome in a huge round of applause, DTM Sar Shahib.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mosam, for that energetic introduction. And just one correction: I was the youngest TTM for about 1 week, and that record was taken by a friend of mine who is also from Karachi, Toastmaster TTM Ali Asharanju, but since he's not in Pakistan at the moment, so yes, you can call me the youngest DTM in Pakistan.
DTM who is still in Pakistan. So that trophy goes to you. I wish
Yes.
the PQD was here, so we could ask him for a special plate. But okay, I'll ask him personally. Now continue.
That would be good. So, fellow Toastmasters, yes, it says, they say behind every successful man, there's a woman, and behind every successful performance, there is a powerful evaluation. And yes, the previous times when I quoted this example was a bit different, and now it's a bit different. So I absolutely forgot about that change in scenario. So let's begin with the reports of the role holders. First, we have the language evaluator, which will be done by DTM Talab bin Ahmed, if I'm not wrong. So over to you, sir, for your report.
Yes, you're right and wrong, because yes, it was allocated to me, but you're wrong because I hardly did it. I just noted a few points. First of all, I was supposed to introduce the word of the day, which I don't know, it got lost. The segment got lost. So the word of the day was flux, in case you didn't know. And secondly, as far as the language and grammar was concerned, our keynote speaker is a native English speaker. So obviously, there are no errors that I could detect in the keynote speech. Elsewhere too, I could detect surprisingly few. Conversely, I also detected very few good usages, but that was not perhaps because there were few good usages, but because my attention was diverted towards other aspects of the meeting more. So I apologize for that, but here's the report. Someone said perceived excellently. That was quite well done. I might have said yes, again, very well done. And then someone said light to come on. So should have been power to be restored. So because we usually in Pakistan, we take light to mean electricity, and myself included, we all tend to make that mistake. But now there is another light in your life. That is the real light. So you should be focused upon power. That is, that comes and goes. But the other light is right here before you and yawning right now. So with that, over to you.
Thank you very much, DTM Talab bin Ahmed. This meeting is making me worry about the next 1 year in quantum leap. How will I survive this? So let's move on to the. I believe that the timer has already presented the report, or DTM Sarfraz, you
Yes,
want to add something to it? You can, if anything.
I have already given my timers report, but congratulations to you. The moment you saw the green light, you stopped talking. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, sir, for pointing that specific point. I will keep that in mind. So let's move on to the general evaluation of this meeting. The first point of improvement is the general evaluator of the meeting needs to be on time, which he wasn't. So that's something the general evaluator can work upon. It was wonderful improvisation by the president, DTM staff to begin the meeting on time and to start it with the keynote speech by Matt, and that was wonderfully done. He connected various aspects, and then he brought them all together. One more improvisation which Quantum Leap is setting a benchmark of improvisation after improvisation, members taking up ownership of the meeting. DTM Iram, who was supposed to be the lead evaluator, turned to a prepared speaker. So that was wonderfully done by her, and her points were quite precise and also helpful as well. So next we had the table topic session. Since we had just one prepared speaker, so it was an extended table topics session. I would not dare to pass on much recommendation for it, but just one would be like DTM Iram said, that when you give a topic, rather than constantly changing them, you can just tweak those topics a bit. And one thing that I've learned has worked in various table topics is keep the table topic short, rather than giving a very long context after context and a very long topic. You can just keep it short. So the speaker can translate that and give the speech accordingly. And that was it from my side. So it's back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Master.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. And now it's time. I would like to add something. That we all witness that diversification is the most important part of our life. We started with a scientific-based subject. Oh, yeah, we have a poll of best table topic as well. I would request everyone to vote for the best table topic speaker you think. During that time, I can continue because everyone will be busy in choosing a poll and no one will listen to me.
You can continue, but there will be another poll. So meanwhile, let's, go ahead.
Okay, we have a time for polls, and meanwhile, in that time, I can continue. So I was saying that we started with a scientific based topic, and then we shifted to a research based topic to a prepared speaker. That was very different than our theme of the meeting. Add a smile and the importance of fiction. At that point, we learned something new. We learned that how our mind can change from one place to another. And then we shifted to a table topic session and then general evaluation. I am the trained Toastmaster of the day. But today I forgot many things because this was my first TMOD at Quantum Leap. So when I shifted from one club to another, so I forgot as well. At this point, I learned that after having the evaluation, we should get feedback from the speaker as well. So this is the new point I learned, and I am sure that every one of you learned something new, and you guys would like to share with it as well. So we are having the second poll for the best of three, sir.
Customarily, that takes place after the MOD has finished their role.
Sure, sir. No issue. And now I'm finishing my role. And thank you so much for everyone. And now I would like to hand over the control to the mentor of mentors, to the boss of bosses, the person, DTM Saif Ali Sheikh, the president of Quantum Toastmasters Club. In a huge round of applause.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Muazzam Azam. And fellow Toastmaster, let me ask you one thing. Did you enjoy the meeting? If you enjoy the meeting, all the credit goes to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Muazzam Azam. And Mr. Vice President, Education and permanent seat on the vote counter and the poll, do you have the result ready with you?
Sir, I'm just waiting for one or two votes for the best big three. So
in the meantime, let me call Toastmaster Mariana. Could you please share your thought after the meeting?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me again. This is not my first visit, and it's always great to come back to be with geeks together and learn something new every time. So I had a great time. It's a wonderful meeting, good group. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mariana, and we are looking forward to see you again and again in Quantum Leap. Our next meeting on the 8th of July. Toastmaster Martin, you are with us? Toastmaster Mustafa, you are with us?
I am
Toastmaster?
here.
Yes, Martin.
Yeah.
Yes, Martin. Could you please share your thought and the feeling after attending the Quantum Leap meeting?
Wow, it's amazing to be here, hearing other things, but to be honest, because this time is the opposite. Always I am just wake up and now I'm sleeping. Now you are wake up and I am almost sleeping. Then it's better to be honest that I didn't pay too much attention. But if you share the recording, I will be glad to hear and to learn from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Martin. Have a nice sleep and good dreams. So, Toastmaster Mustafa, you are with us. Toastmaster Mario?
Here.
Yes, Toastmaster Mario. Your comments on the meeting today.
Yes. Comments. It was nice seeing good old Matthew again, our president. Nice seeing you, Talha, as well. And what else? Great meeting. Loved the. It was my first time interacting with another audience member during table topics. Experimented a bit, and it was fun. What can I say? Great group, great Atmosphere, well structured, albeit with some mishaps, but it happens. So it can kind of control everything. And yeah, so you guys meet on 2nd and 4th of Saturday, correct? Of the month. Yeah, so I'll definitely be paying a visit in 2 weeks. Back to you, Saif.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Maria. Toastmaster Maria, you are with us?
It's the first time that, a man shares the name as me. So anyways, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, the overall meeting was awesome. It's always good to come to Quantum Leap, although I think I have been part of Karachi Toastmasters and worldwide Toastmaster, but yeah, it felt like, home because worldwide Toastmaster peoples were here. And overall, yes, I enjoyed the session, although I'm not a sci-fi type of person. Science fiction is not something that, I look forward to. But it was still interesting. And I thought to participate in table topics, and Toastmasters Zahra recognized it. And that is a very, awesome mind reading thing. So yeah, overall, it was a great experience. And I look forward to more meetings and wish everyone all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Maria. We are on dot or 12 of noon. Mr. VP Education, do we have the result ready with you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. First poll was for the best table topic speaker. And after a tough fight, everyone received at least one vote, but Toastmaster Maria Harim wins out. So congratulations. And for Best Big Three, again, very tough fight, but our TMOD Toastmaster Mozam wins today. Congratulations. There are no votes for Best Speaker and Best Evaluator. They will automatically get the certificate because they were within time and they were the only speakers. So yeah, that's what you get for not following up with your speech slides. So yeah, over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. VP Education. And the next time we will see you as again a VP Education. And let's hope that you have something different in terms of the planning of Quantum Leap Toastmaster Club. So you will delegate, you will not take each and everything on your shoulder. You must relax in the next term. Fellow Toastmasters, it's a time to sign off. And before we are going to sign off on 8th of July, we have passed the baton to the new XCOM committee. So please do attend. So we might have a surprise for all of you who is going to attend it. So you might get some coupon for the tea and the coffee at your place here, and you can take the tea and coffee wherever you are. So by this, I officially adjourn the meeting today. So it's off the record now, so we can talk. And I